this close, let alone have an opportunity to win the map, I think.
Yeah, it's set up as a pretty bleak picture for Nemiga, unfortunately. You know, we saw some good moments, some decent rounds. One of the key things was keeping it together, and I think that, again, Entropiq are just so much more comfortable here, a little less thinking even for them when it comes to adapting and bouncing back and whatnot. We also have to point out no timeouts or anything like that used on map number 1 from Entropiq. So really no sweat off their brow was the finishing line, and I think it's going to be more of the same. We'll see. Nemiga, good CT side yesterday on that Vertigo. Couldn't live up to it this time around, but maybe CT side of Overpass will give them a bit of a new life. Getting into the pistol, though, nice and deep. Nothing too quick as yet. Jo going to take the first base. The flash comes in at the perfect time. He will be left blind, and he will be left 6 foot under. And now, of course, things looking good for the attack on towards this B-bomb site. Idis Balance out in the open, finds one, big damage onto another, calls for the rotation as well to help him out. They line up a bit awkwardly here for Box. He's keeping it together, but the numbers ultimately working in favor, and that's a hell of a finishing shot from Lackey. The round going the way of Entropiq. Certainly a little more difficult. I think they found that first pick, and they thought it would be nice and easy, but all the same, they get it on the board.
Just such a slugfest overall. That round was over towards B, and as you said, even with Entropiq finding entries, it's like endless stream, a conveyor belt of CTs rotating in, so never really a clean opportunity to get the bomb plant, but nevertheless, they'll take that pistol round. It's Nemiga that's going to have to force up in this scenario. Gio's managed to get a FAMAS out, but outside of that, weaponry is much to the lesser of their opponents. Fox is playing the angle, takes Brad very low, but ultimately he's going to go down, and he looks set to make it a second as Entropiq, taking a lot of damage, but 5-on-3, clean stuff so far.
Yeah, maybe a bit of swapping about, give the AK to someone slightly healthier. And, well, there you are. Speak of the devil. Almost as though I watch the game for a living. Chill, though, going to find the kill onto Lackey here. Looking good in and around the pillar. He found another head there. It could have been dangerous. He's created a bit of space for his teammates. But, again, the numbers looking pretty good. Just about, you know, Forrester and Crad hanging on by a thread. So an opportunity for Idis Balance on the scout to maybe find a kill if he wants. But it looks like he is thinking about getting out. And even that's going to be tough for him. Look at your minimap, right? We've got Crad on that flank in the bathrooms. Newly found FAMAS. Hoping to cut off any chance of survival here for Idis Balance. Nonetheless, Entropiq will be getting that second and moving a hell of a lot faster. Again, they look way more comfortable. And the pace is going to be a difficult thing for Nemiga to deal with. Nice shot coming in onto Nickelback. Potential of an AK save here. If he gets, you know, a good position or whatever, he could take down Crad. Even then, he's just going to go for the survive in the corner. So, not even entertaining the idea. Actually ends up being a bit of a costly round for Entropiq, but once again, getting it on the board.
Of course, Fox, it felt like he was going to win the duel in the end, but Crad moving and shooting, praying to those RNG gods, and he finds the frag. And the scary aspect for me is, considering how heavy favourites it feels like Entropiq are on this map, and for Nemiga, double pistol win might have been a requirement. So we're only 3 rounds in, we're only on the 3rd just now, but I'm already getting a little bit nervous here for Nemiga. Of course, just the pistols in play, but maybe Idis Balance gets something done with that AK in hand.
A small chance, trying to give him the opportunities here with the boost up position. Lost a teammate already over towards that A side of things, which is the weaker bomb site as well. So now what? You know, do we commit to our keep on B, or do we start rotating people across as more and more bodies are seen at A? The answer becomes a bit easier, but in the same vein, they might just sit here and hold on to this AK for the next round. We've also got players like Belachonok with a bit of armor and whatnot, so he might even just abandon A completely and focus on the next round. So Entropiq, again, going through the motions, showing they can get it done on A. Not the most challenging of rounds, but all the same, keeping it together and getting themselves a third.
Looking good for them so far. Of course, as you said, Nemiga here. Save the AK. Maybe save Belchonok's armor over as well for good measure. Indeed he won't. Nickelback We'll take that one. Entropiq up to 3, looking clean. Money in the bank as well, keeping so many numbers alive here. So, as I mentioned, it's already looking a little bit scary for Nemiga as guys seems to be sticking around, hoping for a bit of a fadeaway kill on some of these T-side players looking to escape the bomb plant. But gonna find nobody. Die to the bomb himself, and of course, now we can focus on the all-important gun round. Eyeless Balance is likely going to drop that one over. Pick up the AWP. So the investment is good. The buy is very good for Nemiga. And certainly given how we've been painting this map coming into it, we need to see Nemiga getting off to a hot start. They need to get rifle rounds thick and fast and kind of establish themselves here on the CT side.
Oi, oi, more run boosts as well. Nemiga this time around with one of their own for the AWP. Going to get there awfully fast, but he doesn't land the shot. And now escaping becomes an issue. He'll manage to find one, and he set himself up for more. So a nice early pick for Nemiga. Just about able to get out. And there you go, exactly what they were looking for, right? I think that's kind of what you ordered there, Alan, and see what they can do with it.
Still have some utility to play with on Entropiq, and certainly have options. Nemiga, though, good boost. Good proactive play, and look at the mini-map. Eyeless Balance is getting aggressive. He's got box behind him. I believe he's on the flowers over towards long. He's just in front of it, actually, so well positioned to take information if needed. And Eyeless Balance, the further he pushes, the more info he gets, the more he can tell his teammates that it's likely to be B, but actually, it's kind of fooled them the wrong way. He thinks they're grouped up towards Banana, when really shifting out on towards B. Jayo's not here. It's only 2 in defense, and Balance just find the frag, but Lackey walks in, completely unspotted, finds a first, can't convert on the second. That was the chance, and now 1 on 4. Elian, he has some nades, but not a lot else to play with here.
It was a bit weird. They left the bomb behind. Don't really know what happened there. Jayo will get an easy one onto Elian to finish the round. I think, you know, I kind of get the idea maybe you don't want to hard commit, but if they'd gone in with the bomb and they were positioned to trade, there would at the very least have been a bomb plant. Now, they can't buy into this round anyway, and it's just a hard situation to get into, to be honest. Maybe just looking for damage at the tail end of things. Entropiq sending the feelers out there, seeing what Nemiga's first rifle round would look like, and it was pretty well put together. But you pull out an awful lot of your sort of gotcha moments, right? A run boost down into to try and catch a player, a boost up towards short. These are things that they're probably not going to allow you to make use of again in next 4 or 5 rounds, right? They might eventually start forgetting or getting complacent kind of thing about that later down the line. But for these next couple of rounds, they'll definitely be on the ball for that kind of thing.
All 5 players for Entropiq then. They're here on A. Very much committed to this side of the map, and really an information game here, and you can actually see on your minimap, Chill, I think he pushed through Monster, has cleared out B, and he's telling his teammates, get over towards A, there is nothing here, and now it's 4 in defense as Entropiq, lacking anybody on the B side of the map to stave off the information plays, are committing into a lot of numbers here. This could be an absolute shooting gallery. They round the corner. The flashbang is good, but it catches Lackey as well as Beltronic chimes in with the first. And there's just so many players to deal with. Even so, Entropiq finding frags. Zelian bails them out of this tricky situation. 2 remaining for Nemiga. Box still hasn't been spotted, and clearly Brad had no idea a play could still be towards then. Overall, though, 1-on-1, and considering the stack, I think Entropiq would have taken that. Can Elian pull this off and make it a 4K?
Well, he's got the advantage in the sense that Chill thinks he's pulled a fast one and gone towards B. So, not going to be the case. However, Elian, you know, he's planted safe from the short area, from the long area. Not quite sure what to expect. Very quickly deciding that he must be coming from these lower levels. So, he's posted up and ready. Chill's going to go under the crosshair for now, but just around the corner, and Elian will deliver. 4K coming in from the big man. Exactly what you'd expect from this guy in those difficult rounds, and indeed, Nemiga will be disappointed. They read it. but they could not convert it. And that, of course, is all important, right? 4th round for Entropiq. Not completely breaking the bank, but certainly forcing the hand of Nemiga a little bit here with JO on a P250.
Both teams, though, lacking for funds, so from that respect, important one coming up. The economy game as Idis Balance given a sliver of a chance to take the head off Elian, but either Orpa connects. Bit of information exchange as Chill opening pick on Forrester. That's a heavy hitter as well, taken down. As you can see, Nemiga here, they're so proactive. Lose the banana side, get pushed off mid. We're going to re-aggress in towards long, and it's a good setup, but Idis Balance misses the first shot. You can see here they're going to boost Scriv. They're going to boost. This could be brilliant. Anybody holding it? Idis Balance jumps up, and Elian pins Disbalance to the wall. It felt like such a good idea, but Elian ready and waiting, and now Entropiq well on their way towards A.
He's in. He's on the definitely come alive. He was a little quiet. They didn't really need him on Vertigo. It was more Crad, Forrester, Nickelback, those types of names. But Overpass, a bit easier to get the AWP going, isn't it? And he's certainly proving it. You actually don't necessarily see it every single T side, every single T round, but Elian has moved towards it quite quickly. Will lose his teammate, will lose his own life there, so a blunder outside of B. That's going to be the bomb as well. I don't think they're quite set up and ready for it. However, Flash comes over, Nickelback will find one. Needed that, did Chill. Going to get blinded up, but while blind, he finds the low HP Nickelback. So, Nemiga kind of out of nowhere, despite Elian's beautiful shot and the nice play out towards long. Entropiq will drop the round. Nemiga finding it against the odds, as it were. And like I say, a mess outside of Monster, it looked like.
Good stuff from Nemiga, though. Getting some rounds on the board, of course, important. CT-sided map is Overpass, so being a little bit down early on was a bit scary, but now, finally, money is broken. You can see Entropiq here. They've said our loss bonus is so low, they're going to have to invest. It's Deagle's in play, and already the opening pick from Nemiga is Entropiq. They're trying to contact in towards mid, but yet to find any opportunities. Idis Balance looking the wrong way. He's looking the wrong way, and Crad punishes his. Org recovered. Round gained on A, and actually there's nobody in defense here, Scriv. Jay is only coming up just now. This could be a huge blunder.
Is he ready for them to be so close? That's kind of the key question. He manages to sneak into the corner. I think now he's getting himself prepped. Flash comes over the top. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Jo just left looking at the wall. Oh, Chonok trying to deny the plant here. Not going to happen for him on the MP9. And one of the sneaky rounds Entropiq have got in the back pocket. The pocket rounds, you may well call them. It was the trend during the major. And, well, Entropiq certainly, I think, made a bit of a name for themselves with these types of rounds. And they are doing so again against Nemiga. Troublesome in the previous, let it slip away. This one looking pretty good. What's the retake got to say, though? Unfortunately, not very much. Just the one kill coming in for Box, as Entropiq will solidify their lead, finding a great answer back on the half-buy.
Yeah, look at what it's done to the finances now of Nemiga as well, for good measure, as money in the bin for Nemiga, and that just felt like the story as well on Vertigo, didn't it? String a couple rounds together, start to get some kind of stabilizing, some traction, and then Entropiq swing right back, be it pistols or on rifles, they just up the ante, and Nemiga have no response, and that is a terrible round to be losing. They still want any chance to turn the series around, as pistols now for Nemiga, and then Entropiq are making this look a heck of a lot cleaner. One man to the good, and I doubt that AK will be recovered either.
Slowly in towards B. They don't want to take any chances, because Jayo's got the accurate little shot there with the P250. 2 headies. I mean, he only needs one against Lackey. They're not going to get it. So, no crazy heroics. B-bomb side going to be left open. We have a late flank coming in. Maybe good for some damage, but the round itself, once this bomb goes down, should be pretty much over. They're really not taking any chances here, though, which is fair. And perhaps the hunt for guns actually begins for these two players. So, they are both quite close to that B-bomb site. at the moment. If they can get their hands onto something very nice and very one-tappy for the next round, but somewhat anticlimactic. They're just holding and hoping. Idis balance is going in, box is covering.
Probably are a couple guns that could be picked up over towards Monster. It just seems unlikely that Entropiq are going to allow that. Idis balance is trying to sneak in. Crad looks towards his right as Idis balance finds 2 kills.
Okay.
Considering he was going to be saving, well, not saving anything into the next round anyway. There's nothing to lose going for the frags, and it's good economic damage. Could come good later in the half. So, a nice consolation at the end, but it can't detract from the fact that Entropiq are 6-2. T side of Overpass, when they're already 1 map up in the series. Entropiq are still in such a comfortable position.
Okay, box though, charging in early on into the round, able to find the first Idis balance. Also gets a frag of his own. Mid well and truly held down. 5-on-3 straight out the gate. Okie dokie. Nemiga are capable of answering back themselves. They hold on to the round though. Crad, yeah, you're never getting out of there alive. Forrester will take down Chill on the pixel angle and ready for the second as well. That leaves the P bomb side very vulnerable, but the bomb is bloody miles away. Get smoked down onto the site, cause some panic rotations maybe, but 11 HP. For Forrester, still a man down, or a bit more HP, and he might have found that frag. Not going to be the case. Lackey against 3. Saw him here a good number of times on Vertigo. Couldn't really convert many of them. We'll see if he can do it now.
All about isolating Jules here. And tries to do that against Lackey. Against Box even. Box decapitates his opponent. So, up to 3 on Nemiga. Money is still not good at all for them. We'll see where Entropiq's finances even out towards the end. They could buy into this one. I'd say a kind of pistol armor half buy to even out the cash is all the more likely. So we'll see what buy comes in the end. And indeed, it's actually going to be the full investment, as Entropiq are saying. We smell blood. We know the money is low, and this is scary stuff. Chips are on red. Entropiq could break the bank here if they pull off this force buy.
Minute and 35. Not as much action as the previous round, but looking to work middle like they did in the previous round. So later on, hoping the initial aggression has backed off this time. Is indeed the case for the most part. Got box sat in towards divider. Oh, looking the wrong way though, my dude. He will just about wake up thanks to Idis balance, but he will get taken out. Idis balance makes use of his death, however. 4-on-3, lack of utility for this Entropiq side. Gonna send it in towards A, but there's so many players already here. This really would be quite something if they can pull it off. Stacked on top of each other. Flash comes in, Crad goes flying, but it's not quite good enough to keep him alive. 4-on-2 for Forrester and Elliot, now down to a 2-on-2. Idis balance keeping it together, and he will indeed find the final 2 kills. Nice round coming in from the AWPer, and a 4th for Nemiga.
That got very nerve-wracking there towards the end. It's a heavy man advantage for Nemiga, but Entropiq, I believe it was Elliot and Forrester walking in, doing damage here. We can see on the replays. Just here, it felt like there was a great opportunity, but Idis balance just about tucks himself in behind that truck, gets the nice repeak, and the frag in the end. And as we can see here, the money for Entropiq is not good at all, as Nemiga, 4 rounds, maybe they can make it up to 8 or 9. Certainly is a respectable CT half. As Entropiq looks like they'll be ecoing in this one. So Nemiga finally have broken that bank, forced some pistols into play, and this isn't even a half buy or a force buy. It's a very low investment from Entropiq.
Yeah, going to be a tough one. Going to be a tough one to get anything done. Probably just a bit of a throwaway round. I think we're in for a couple tech pauses. Tac pauses, if I'm hearing correctly. So, a fair amount to work on, I suppose, is what they're feeling here on this Nemiga side of things. But it is Entropiq who, I guess, have to start recovering things back. T-side, little hard, I suppose, with the way that the current meta sits, but I definitely know that these guys are going to want to get everything they can. Explosive start, but Nemiga have started answering back pretty well and closing the gap. So, want to stay ahead. I think at the very least need to be hitting 9. They know they're capable of more than that.
It needs to be said so far, despite the dominance on map 1 from Entropiq and certainly at stages in this second map as well, Elian hasn't been at his kind of normal superstar levels now. He's been perfectly adequate, doing his job, getting his frags here and there. We expect Elian to be comfortably the best player on the server, and right now it's Idis Balance who looks like the more potent Overpass, so wouldn't have expected that. Maybe when the sides are flipped, we'll see what Elian can really do.
Oh. Unlucky. Elian. Classic behaviour for him to be last alive. Probably not for too much longer. He's hoping, in between these two angles, to find a head somewhere. But he gets flanked out. Unlucky. 5th round on the board for Nemiga. No real problem for them. Exactly what we were expecting. As we'll now be looking down the barrel of another rifle round. And Nemiga have brought it close here. Into just 1 round. And couple in a row. You break the bank again. So let's see some of that consistency. Definitely looking better on the CT side than they were on Vertigo. Can they keep it rolling? That's the big question.
We're over towards B at the start for Entropiq as Box, good spawn. Deciding to get aggressive and facing towards Connector as Forrester takes that fast short control. Decapitates Elchonok. Good nade there in response, so as the dust settles here, it's 4 and 4, but we can see on the minimap 4 players popping out of this monster position. Only 2 in defense, and Jayo's not in a great position. He's here towards the bridge area. Krad's lurking through. Behind the sandbags, though, is Chill. Krad's going to fall. Blackie's taken very low. This is going to be really difficult to get the bomb planted. Chill still in this area. Players in Connector as Elian finds a first in the second. He had a quiet series so far, but as impacts frags go, those were pretty far up there.
Yeah, Nemiga will be kicking themselves to allow him to get away with that as well. Idis Balance. I mean, the money's decent. And he's got to know information that there's a couple of low HP players here. But not going to be easy at all. Something comes his way, maybe he'll go for it. Oh my goodness. Lucky. Hello? That is a Matrix moment if ever I've seen it. Idis Balance will take him down, but the P250 bullets just all around him. Still feeling it. Nade not really landing. He's left low. And they're just not going to give him the space, not going to give him the respect. And you know that as soon as he crosses towards this bridge area, that's where it becomes kind of impossible. Elian will peek out and catch him off guard. That's going to be an AWP handed over as well, actually. So for that reasoning, yes, you might have money, but you've just given big man Elian a nice injection into future rounds. So saving, I think, is your better option there. Futility comes into mind as well. What is that? What is that? How does he not get hit at all?
Anyway, 5-7. Goodbye for both teams. Krad actually has had to drop onto a Mac 10 to get full utility, so he's a little bit worse for wear, but overall, could be in store for a good gun round here as Entropiq just defaulting out for the moment. Bit of mid-control, flash to get Krad out of top of Connector. With that toilet smokes up, but we can see here, Box, he's hanging around. Still in towards toilets, and he can tell his teammates, guys, he might have done some pressure here on A, but I can't see anybody as Krad, nades in hand, and no idea Box could be in that position. That's an opening pick and information. Nemiga surely are going to recognize this and rotate over back towards B, but look, there's only 2 here. There's a good window of opportunity if Entropiq commit fast.
And they don't quite know that, though. They're trying to make a move. There it is, through the smoke. Down goes Belchonok as he gets a little bit greedy. Chill, good for one, needed more. And now that vulnerability you talked about comes into play. Lackey on the long angle will take down Gio. And now we look at a 3 versus 2 with no kits and just a flash. Fox going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Not looking good. And again, Idis balance. This time around, I was going to say it's a position where you would probably need to save. And he's going to feel it. Fox is trapped, so unlucky for him. But Idis balance will take the AWP into the next.
Needs to hang on to this one. Going to be the only player with a rifle in the following round, and it feels like it's been a little bit more laboured, doesn't it, for Entropiq here on this second map so far. But nonetheless, 8 rounds and Nemiga set for ecos to follow. It's going to be difficult, and with only a few rounds left in the half, it's actually a really difficult decision here for Nemiga. Do you force buy twice to close out the half? Or do you eco here, try to save this ult through again, and then have a pretty lackluster buy, to be honest, the final round? It looks like they're opting for the more cautious approach, so this round alone, got to be looking at Idis balance. He's their only opportunity.
Big nades. Chill left very low. Idis balance ready and waiting to make a play, and he'll have his opportunity if he wants to go flying around that corner. A couple players ready and waiting. Oh, but they are indeed body blocking their way through. Idis balance good for one. Nickelback knows that he's a little stuck. Somehow manages to dodge the bullet. And Idis balance was waiting for the peak. It never comes. He has to push forward because of the fire. And indeed goes down. Belchonok with an AK but no armor also falls. Forrester overwhelmed and zapped. Oh, goodness, that's hilarious. You could see the panic in his eyes as they were running him down. But the bomb making its way over towards A. It's actually a pretty good read from these two players here. Still going to be tough. Elian hidden away. Patiently waiting. Chill comes through the smoke. P250 round the corner, though. Could get a double, you know. Hard against the AWP at the moment, but he runs out of ammo onto the AK. Still can't get it done. Will eventually fall down. A chaotic round to get Entropiq there ninth nonetheless. Unfortunately, economic damage very cool, but it doesn't really matter. We go into the final looking down the barrel of a 10-5 for the T side.
It's a good opening from Idis balance, but with only pistols on his teammates, even with this carnage at the end.
That slow motion Zeus noise.
Here we go then. And as we can see, actually, as I mentioned earlier, the buy here for Nemiga may have 4 rifles, but lacking in the kits, lacking in the nades. If this goes a late round, could be a problem. An opening pick would do them wonders, and Idis balance getting aggressive again, finding openings. He's been so good on Overpass thus far, and maybe got to ask questions of his teammates.
Difficult start into the round. Nickelback, fast up long. Oh, easy kill, gets it. Lackey, meanwhile, fast up B. Certainly making us work for the frags at the moment, but nonetheless, the bomb on the way towards A looks pretty good here to, at the very least, get the plant in. Again, you know, a lack of kits, a lack of utility for Nemiga seems to be the story of this here first half. As the bomb slowly makes its way in. Oh, the spam! It could have landed. However, Crad ready for it. You know, reads into the scenario relatively well. Gets into his post plant. And I'm sure you'd love to save here. You've got one player coming late from B. 1 on half. And of course, you're a man down. But final round. So they've got to go for it, Alan.
That is for sure. But the afterplants are good here. They're good crossfires. And as soon as one player takes contact for Entropiq, others are going to swing out. And Joe can't even make it that far. Belchonok is going to fall as Entropiq make it up to 10 on the T side of their map pick when they're already 1 map to the good. They're so close to winning Group A here in ESL Challenger. Can they get it over the line? We'll find out after this quick break.
Well, Nemiga, certainly, again, bringing it back to just 5 and making it the bare minimum that we always talk about. Entropiq, though, going on to the CT side. We saw what they were capable of here on Vertigo, and Overpass is one of their favorites at the moment. CT-sided game at the moment, and I'd say a CT-sided team as well. So, certainly going to be tough. Nemiga, as you can see, with somewhat of an interesting setup in the pistol, putting a lot of chips into this first round. See whether it pays off for them. They're expecting some aggression by the looks of things.
Nickelback is the most likely candidate to fall foul of that trap. It doesn't look like it hanging around this cube area in towards the birthday position. Just trying to play for some information, and I'll be honest, it feels like a must-win pistol, doesn't it, given the context of the map so far and the series. There's Nemiga, they're crawling up mid, up the left-hand wall, and Nickelback still hasn't spot anybody. Now finds Gio and falls foul immediately, and Nemiga accelerating behind this. Entropiq, they're out of position. They need to rotate fast to cover off this A-bomb site.
Certainly going to have to get a move on. P250 of Idis Balance leading the charge. It does seem like they've got just about enough bodies here to make it work. 3 players on the A-bomb site, 1 sticking around on B, who's probably going to start moving in just a sec. Idis Balance finds another for the squad. Looking good. 5 on 3. We need someone to go above and beyond. Is it going to be Forrest? Nope. Gets his head ripped clean off. Crad and Lackey, the only 2 remaining, and it looked like Crad started to move back towards B, actually. So, yeah, they were not as set up as maybe first thought. Smoke dissipates here towards bank. It's still not impossible, but it's going to be tough. Especially as they lose another. Can Lackey get one? No, he cannot. A flawless pistol for Nemiga comes in. Great start to half number 2.
Yeah, as I said, it felt like they needed it, and dominant fashion as well. Good stuff from Nemiga. See what Entropiq choose to go for. Most teams would certainly force buy second round, but they've said, let's eco this one. Very little investment, just Crad with the HE nade actually, and we'll get the rifles out in the next. Heavy mid stack. Guess you need to try something unorthodox on just the USPs, and this is what Entropiq has chosen to go for. How much I would love Nemiga to come for some mid control.
Not going to happen, though, is it? I mean, they do eventually, but, you know, ships in the night kind of vibe. They moved away from mid now, just as the slow approach, heavily towards long, actually, but, you know, the slow approach into that area comes in from Nemiga. They're not going B, I can tell you that much for free, so we're probably not going to see too much action in this round, unfortunately, folks. Maybe a throw themselves at it from Entropiq. Interesting, though. Let's touch on this a little bit. How do you feel about the eco in the second round, and therefore the early CT rifle buy?
Debatable. As actually somehow Elian through the smoke. He must have got double dinked there, unless Idis Balance didn't have head armor, so it's a little bit perplexing. Joe's going to get 1 reply, so it should... All she wrote here for Entropiq. Chili finds 2 through the wall, and yeah. Getting back to the question, it's debatable. I think CT side of over. Basically, it's more of a question of going into that first gun round. How much do you need the AWP, and how much do you need that utility? Because you're really going to be lacking that if you just save the second here and buy in the third. And clearly, Entropiq are saying they are very comfortable playing with low nades and just the rifles, and maybe Overpass is a map where that is more so, where it's less about, you know, getting map control. It's more raw fragging, using those weapons. And somehow Elian, out of all of this, has got enough for an AWP. It isn't a glass cannon, but I think that might surprise Nemiga.
Yeah, unexpected. We don't have a player that's elected to get a kit here. So certainly worth keeping an eye on. But all the same, the buy is definitely workable, and Entropiq, you know, they've made their bed. They know the position that they're in with this one. Ooh, not quite able to get it. It's a hard reaction shot to hit. It's information at the very least of 2 players, so there is that. Pretty slow beginnings, and I was going to say no early frags, but a spam through the smoke comes in for Lackey. Nice and lucky for Lackey, as Jo will fall.
feels like we've had a lot of spam kills through smokes, so not sure what's up today. Maybe they've been watching some of my static demos, I'm not sure. Maybe. A stack though from Entropiq. Lackey's on the site. We've got this double kind of toilet setup coming out from Elian and a Crad. So it's a nice setup. Elian's also playing the wide angle and clearly eye disbalance. No idea Elian could be there. He falls and now it becomes so much more difficult as Crad pushes forward. The 1-2 punch is just working perfectly right now for Entropiq.
Nice and easy. All the kills so far. Chill will find one, but that's fine. Yeah, no, they're not too bothered. The glass cannon orb stays in play. Now strengthens itself. And 4 players is really good for your first rifle round. Nemiga, yeah, very caught off guard, looking for isolated jewels, and everywhere they turned, there was a CT ready and waiting. So really, really nice first rifle round. And Nemiga immediately backs up against the wall into a hero AK and a half by surrounding it. They are going to have their work cut out for this one, and they need to respond quickly. Entropiq with the early rifle buy. It is debatable, says Mr. Hender, but they make it work. Entropiq know what they're doing, and they will indeed get the reward.
Only J on the AK. Aside from that, couple of Eagles in play, a bit of body armor. Certainly advantage Entropiq. Smoke into connector for Crad. A nice flashbang from his teammates to check out that short water and short pipe position. So no frags found, but good information. He can tell his teammates. Didn't see anybody. Should definitely worry more about Monster, and clearly Entropiq are setting up for that. Nemiga, though, as always, taking it slow and shifting out towards this long position.
Bit of sleep, but woken up viciously. Finds the frag, of course, against the Glock. Down goes the AK. This is kind of worrying for me. You know, we're only a couple rifle rounds into... Well, not even, just the one, but, you know, a couple chunkier rounds from these two teams, and it does feel that Nemiga are a little stuck for ideas. They don't have the super secret rounds in the back pocket like we saw from Entropiq a couple times. Just hoping they can pull off something a bit nasty. That's kind of nasty for my part. I think Brad, without head armor there, gets caught by a Glock. But that will be the round. Just the one kill. And it's the same guy as last round. So, a bit of deja vu. But Entropiq moving up to 12 pretty quickly. We've got 2 or 3 more rifle rounds. If they can get those, then it is game over. So, Nemiga, it's super important to get this next one.
Yes, indeed. Was a nice Glock kill from Midas Balance. He'll take that one. But the scoreline overall makes for pretty grim viewing, and Jo, having had the AK in the previous, is only on the P250, and overall Nemiga, they're really lacking for utility here. Going to be very tricky to push back Elian and his AWP. They choose to go in that direction, but for the moment, bomb is B, numbers are B. They're going to try and force us out.
Trying. Awkward exchange there for Crad and Chill. Worth pointing out, Chill having a pretty good game. So these newer players having their moments, having their sparks. Although when you've only got 7 rounds, it's difficult to quantify the impact of those frags. Well, pretty silent, to be honest, as we've just sat for 5 to 8 seconds. Just a bit of utility coming down, a few bullets here or there, but Nemiga winding that clock down. RV style, it would seem. Just hoping to burst their way in towards B, but look at this setup, man. It is so deadly. They do rip the head of Lackey off, so that could be somewhat worrying. Yeah, low HP Forest is quickly dealt with, but the rotations are in fast. Elian with a rare miss shot up close. However, as I said, rotations are in fast. Nickelback is here already. in towards the pit position, and he takes the player down just as he comes up from the plant. All on to Chill. I commented on how well he's been playing, but not well enough. 13th round for Entropiq. Looks a bit dicey, but they're in control, as they have been for this entire CT half.
It was some really nice shots, though, from Belchonok and Chill as they worked their way up, contacted on towards B. The problem was teammates are falling by the wayside and lacking those nades. It's kind of do or die. You got to hit the shots, and in the end on the retake, just a little bit too much from Entropiq. Elian hitting some nice ones along the way. So 13-7. Nemiga are going to have to eco again. It's a bit of a half-fight, but Entropiq can smell the Group A win now. They are really close. Just need to keep it clean against the Pistols.
Oh, hello. Elian having a dodgy couple of rounds in some of these moments. Gets caught by the Deagle. Could be problematic. It's an AWP for Idis Balance. Certainly not the man that you want to have it. And you have two options. You know, you kind of use it in this round or you get rid of it. I think they will probably go with the former because they are somewhat desperate for rounds. So an AWP now in play for the T side and lack of one for the CT side. It's just a question of kind of what they do with it. You know, they're really lacking in the utility. One smoke and probably just going to contact this guy in. I imagine you could predict that, so just play some safer angles and it'll be a bit easier to avoid.
Triple boost. Triple boost seems to be on the cards. Lining it up.
Oh.
I think unfortunately... Oh, he is there. Nickelback playing around the jump up position. Brad gets a reply, but it has caused some problems for Entropiq in terms of their rotations. It's a bit of a weird scenario where Entropiq are holding on to this banana side and Nemiga are really penned in towards long. That's the bomb as well. Good information. Now the teammates can roll in. And you can see how aggressively they're getting, and that's having a field day. Felt like they had a chance after the triple boost and the frag, but Entropiq stabilizing as they have so many times throughout this series, and now only 2 away from closing it out on their map pick. It's hard to see where Entropiq are going wrong at the moment. They look so good.
Yeah, I mean, for the isolated frag, it's fantastic, right? And a nice idea. You maybe have to have a couple players ready on short, or at the very least one. Obviously, he gets caught off guard, and then you just have the obvious thing that if you watch enough Counter-Strike, you'll probably know what I'm going to say. But 3 players dedicated at long, it sacrifices a lot of control. They can pen you in, as Crad did, and obviously gives the information as to where the remaining 3 players are at. And Crad pulls out a nasty angle of his own to find the double. So he knows, you know, he's not under threat to go for that kind of angle out in the open. So a bit of a difficult one. Flash not really following the physics there. Whoopsie daisy. And the Hail Mary by. Nemiga have got to make it work to stay alive, I think.
Yes, indeed. 4 players on this B side of the map. Clearly had intentions of working their way in early, but been stalled out by the utility. Decided instead to walk back out mid with a couple of players in Belchonok and Chill. Problem is, haven't sold any presence on towards A. It's a nice frag, but they're still free in defense here. This could still be difficult if they choose to commit behind this.
Brilliant. Easy kill. Now what? They've lost their Vanguard. I guess we just have to go for it, lads. They do look very uneasy on this, and Forrester capitalizes. Wide swing. Does get one for Wand. Smoke makes life awkward for Jo, but he does get it done. Elian's still alive at the back of the site with the AWP, though. Already on 2. Looking for maybe 1 or 2 more. Nice bouncing around. The bunny rabbit Jo goes on high, and will bring it into a 2-on-1. He's got an AWP of his own. Reading into this perfectly as well. And surely Nickelback...
Oh, the
chance,
timing.
but they look away. Absolutely ridiculous. He'll get the catch onto the first. No real idea where the second is at, but that comes quick. He's bought a lot of time. He can mess around. Jo, though, back in position and ready for it. The AWP that had been recovered saves the round. And a nice one coming in from him. He'd been, I would argue, a problematic fragging player so far. Bit of dead weight, as they say. But into this round, he finds 3 and 2 very important kills at the tail end.
Yeah, looking good. Felt like Nickelback after finding that first are going to have a great chance. Walking into that AWP was never going to work too well. Indeed, Nemiga find their first round in what feels like quite a long time. Money, though, is still decent for Entropiq. They can buy into this one, and indeed they have, as look at this from Chill. Decided, I'm going to push through the smoke. I'm going to push through the smoke, but the door is blown, and Nickelback see through that hole. It's a good idea, but it doesn't work out, and Nemiga man down. This is scary stuff.
Another one comes in. Entropiq right back to it. You know, they might let a round slip every now and then off the back of an individual, but they keep it together. They pick up the pieces almost instantly, almost every time, it feels like, especially with the rifles, and most definitely on the CT side. And that fact kind of goes for the whole series. Box on low HP as well. Really not looking good for Nemiga. 50 seconds left. No real map control to speak of. I guess connector is something, but it's just kind of control that's been given up, and the areas that it leads to are not really all that great. You've got Nickelback so deep. Yeah, this is looking kind of impossible. 20 seconds, and they've not done anything with that time. Are they just saving?
Yeah, looks like it. It just feels like a lose-lose scenario, doesn't it? You try and go in and hit a bomb site. Maybe you got a chance if you hit some great headshots. But if you lose the guns, the buy in the next is terrible. But saving here, you're giving Entropiq 15 and so many opportunities to clean up the map. Said it's a lose-lose scenario, and Nemiga have chosen to keep these weapons at least alive. So it's going to be Entropiq series point and plenty of opportunities to get this over the line. Nemiga, the road ahead is incredibly steep. How do you, on earth, do you even compose yourself to pull this off? It's got to be one round at a time.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just a situation, like, as we touch on every now and then when you see this series point looking down the barrel of a pretty dominant 2-0. When you're in scenarios like this, I think it doesn't matter what level of team you are, it's really, really difficult to keep it together and you know, keep it moving round on round on round. The ultimate pressure when you're in a 2-on-3 man down kind of scenario. So these earlier rounds, they need to keep it together and keep it clean, I think, to give themselves a bit of belief. We'll see. At the same time, flicks like that from Elian are going to probably make you believe that it's over, to be honest. Jio will find a trade onto Forrester, takes a fair chunk. While over on A, we have a difficult setup to break apart. Nickelback gets his first. Crad has yet to be seen. Here's the scope, but Igus Balance, he does react quickly enough. He's not able to follow up, unfortunately. Still that 3-on-2 in favor of the CT side.
Yeah, bomb as well. Look at that. All the way back in T-spawn. And Lackeys decided to push through Monster. Now in towards B short. Bit of ring-a-ring-a-rosy here on the B-bomb side, but Igus Balance, he's got to find frags, and Elian wins out in the all-important AWP duel, and it's only Box standing between Nemiga and relegation to the lower bracket decider in Group A. Nobody here for the moment, so should be able to get the bomb down, but we haven't seen Entropiq slip up at all, particularly in these retakes. It's going to take some heroics from Box to keep this map going.
Well, we'll see. The big man, he looked pretty good on Vertigo. He's going to go for the plant here, and that's probably about all he's going to get. Gives them the time they need to close the gap. Lackey will take him down, and not quite rip the band-aid off kind of finish. They've got to get a smoke onto the Molotov and the defuse, of course, but that will be that. 16 to 8, and then a 16 to 9, of course, on Vertigo means that it's over 2-0, and not hitting double digits on either map is really, really difficult stuff, of course, for Nemiga. A poor showing, I think it is safe to say, for today. You know, it really is a difficult one in this kind of meta when you're not hitting the double digits. I think you can say, indeed, we have been well and truly outclassed.
Yeah, for sure, and certainly